The news a lot of Auburn fans have been waiting for finally drops, and of course they do it on a Friday, and that is the fact that we have a new offensive coordinator. And the offensive coordinator that they have named is not a huge surprise to anybody. There were some people who were hoping for a big splash hire. There was a campaign for people who wanted Damian Craig to come to Auburn, but it ended up being the person that I expected all along to be the offensive coordinator, and that is Eric Kiesau. I still don't know how to say his name, but he's on the team. He's been on the team. He was the wide receivers coach most recently, and it's really no surprise that he is the new offensive coordinator. Why is that, you ask? Well, at Boise State, guess who was Bryan Harsin's offensive coordinator? You're right, Eric Kiesau. So this comes as no surprise. So with that fact now, let's talk about what that means for Auburn. And the best way to do this is to look at what he's done, where he's been, and how that's going to translate on the field for Auburn. Coach Harsin correctly said on Friday that one of the biggest things this program needs at Auburn is consistency. So when he was talking about this, he made a statement, and I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but he made a statement about one of the biggest things our players and program needs going from year one to year two with us is consistency. We lost offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We lost a lot. So this is going to be a key factor in Auburn being successful. And what's more consistent for this program than for Bryan Harsin to be reunited with his past offensive coordinator at Boise State? It makes a ton of sense. Even though it may not be the offensive coordinator you were hoping for. It may not be the big name you wanted. This move makes a ton of sense. Reading a little further into it, he says that Kiesau and Bellantoni are excellent football coaches and teachers of the game with 44 years of Division I experience between them, including 22 combined years in coordinator roles. So they have a lot of experience. There were actually 3 changes, including this move up to offensive coordinator. I'll talk about the other 2 a little later on. But Kiesau was named wide receivers coach, if you remember, a little while back in September after the previous wide receivers coach, Cornelius Williams, was relieved of his duties, or however that happened. It's been a minute, so I don't even remember how that fell out, but I know he was more or less asked to leave. Coach Kiesau has been at a lot of places, and I'm not going to read his whole history, but I do want to look at a few of the stops he's made along the way that are relevant to this new job as offensive coordinator at Auburn. So he started coaching back in 2000, but I'm not even going back that far. In 2009 to 2010, he was the offensive coordinator at Colorado. In 2012 to 2013, he was offensive coordinator at Washington. He was interim offensive coordinator at Kansas in 2014, offensive analyst at Alabama in 2015. In 2016, he was the offensive coordinator and also served as the interim head coach for about 4 games. After that, he went to, this is where he and Harsin kind of met up almost. He in 2017 is when he went to Boise State. He was the wide receivers coach at Boise State from 2017 to 2018 and actually extended that role into 2019, where he was the co-offensive coordinator. In 2020, that's when he served the sole role as offensive coordinator and, this is the key part, quarterbacks coach. So one thing we knew after we lost Austin Davis is that we did need a quarterbacks coach. Eric Kiesau has done this before. So he was the offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach with Bryan Harsin. That is the key right here, is they've worked together before. They know how they play into each other's system. He can work for Harsin and work with him as a play caller. I think Bryan Harsin, or Coach Harsin, is going to be calling the plays still, but there shouldn't be any friction between them, or very little, because they know each other and they will know how to cooperate well, and they will complement each other well. And then after that, that is when he came to Auburn in 2021. And he served as, I think he was an offensive analyst first before moving into the wide receivers coach role. And then now he is the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. So he's serving in that same role he did in 2020 at Boise State. One of the other moves that was made was defensive analyst Rock Bellantoni. He was moved from defensive analyst to the coach of the edge linebackers and special teams. So this is kind of filling that role that was left by Burt Watts. And finally, one of my favorite moves that was made was Zach Etheridge. He is now the secondary coach, I think is how they classified it. Let me double check that. He's promoted, yes, to the secondary coach and associate head coach. This is a big deal for him. Sometimes these name changes are made so that they can pay them differently, because sometimes the title you have helps with the pay structures. And with Zach Etheridge, one of the big reasons we want to keep him around is he was one of the top recruiters in college football, and we for his position especially, and we want to keep him around. So sometimes you have to make these moves that just make sense. He's doing a good job. Give him a promotion, and that this is something that can help keep him around. We, as Auburn fans, we love Zach Etheridge, so I think we need to do what we can to keep good guys on the team, and especially a part of the coaching staff. That's all I have for these updates. Thank you for watching this video. If I get any more updates surrounding players, recruiting, I'm sure there's going to be some transfer portal news in not too long. We'll have the spring game coming up in April, but a lot of stuff can change between now and then. So as things change, I will keep you updated. So please keep watching this channel. Thank you again for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.